if you're watching the video version of the podcast, you probably see this tall man to my left. His name is Ryan Delk. He's from a company called Omni. And, well, we're talking about access today. I thought we don't do interviews, but occasionally we'll bring people on to help us answer some questions.
Yeah.
I thought you were the right guy to answer some questions here because you're the COO of Omni, which I've been trying to explain Omni to a few people, and I've had a bit of a struggle explaining it. And I was hoping maybe you could explain it to me. Although the way you tweeted about this recently. You said one way to think about Omni is that we empower you to own the things you want to own and access everything else. And it sounds to me like Omni is a company that wants people to have access to things that they may not want to own. What is Omni about?
Yeah, so that's exactly how we think about it. So we think about Omni as empowering people to access the things that they want to own, be that essentials, be that hobbies, whatever it is, to be able to own those things and then be able to access everything else. And so the idea is, we live in a world where sometimes things are needed. And because of infrastructure and life decisions and whatever, people have just accumulated a ton of this stuff.
Right.
And so we think of it about these items that you use once a month or once a year or once every 5 years, and items that might take up a ton of space in your home, and items that might also be valuable to other people. Yeah. And so the whole goal of Omni is to build a platform that allows people to access these things when they need it, and not have to keep those items around their house. And so you get two benefits. One is instead of owning things, you can just pay for things by the day or the month or the week when you need them. And then on the flip side, you can also free up room in your house and make money on things by sharing them with your neighbors, your community, sharing with your friends for free. And so we think about it, hopefully, as sort of building this future where everyone can own way more, but be able to own way less, but be able to do way more with things.
I love it. Where are you all at right now with Omni?
Yeah.
Like what cities, where can people use this service currently?
Yeah. So we started about 3 years ago. We're currently in the Bay Area. We cover most of the Bay Area, and then we're actually coming to Portland. Partnering with the city of Portland to bring Omni there later this summer. And so the story of Omni is a little interesting. We started knowing that in order to build this sort of network allowing people to share things, we needed to get really high quality goods. And so we started as a management platform where you could add deposit items that you owned. So you could put your drill or your bike and you could get it back whenever you need it. So you could free up space in your home, but if you still wanted to go bike riding on the weekends, you could have your road bike delivered. And so it wasn't storage, it was all itemized. We took really nice photos of it, we would deliver it back to you. But that was really the foundation. So we spent 2 years building that to build up sort of this network of items that we could then unlock the value of for the world.
Because if you don't have the items, you can't lend them out.
It's a chicken and the egg problem.
You can't go into my house and grab a ladder and say, all right, I'm going to lend this out to someone else.
You'd be pretty pissed if we did that.
Now, Nicodemus was talking about this last night. We were driving home from the airport when I picked you up.
Yeah.
And you were like, there's this ladder I use maybe once every other month or something.
Once a month, yeah. I've got a ladder to get to my roof, and it's nice to go up there every once in a while for sunset and check out the Hollywood sign, have a glass of wine or something. But it's like the other 30 days during the month I don't use it. It'd be nice to make $5 or $10 off of it.
And ladders are interesting because they have a cost, not just to you on the opportunity cost of what you can make financially, but it takes up a ton of space.
Yeah, it's just on my patio.
Transporting it is, it's taking up room back there. It's transporting it is terrible. And so, we think about the value that we create, not just in the sort of, money that you can make on items or whatever, but freeing up space in your home. And we think spaces should be for living, not for storing crap.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Amen.
And the weird thing is we're building houses that are larger than ever. And then two things happen. One is we just, over time, fill it with stuff.
Yep.
I remember when I built my first house in Dayton, Ohio, in the suburbs of Dayton. I was, it was this huge monstrosity with full basement and 2.5 car garage, which I don't know how you fit a half car in there. I mean, is that a Prius or something?
I guess.
You put 3 Priuses in there. And of course most people are filling their garage with stuff, so they have a 2.5 car garage that barely fits 1 car because of the ladder and all this other stuff. And so in a weird way, we start to lose access to the things we even own because it's just piling up there in the basement or the closet or the attic. And how often do we actually go and use those things? So we're paying for all this extra space, and we own these things, meaning we sort of hoard them, but we don't we don't actually use the things.
Totally.
And it seems to me, I've been waiting for a business to come along and have this model where, you're sort of the Uber for stuff, is the way that I'm sure it was pitched in some venture capitalist meeting somewhere at some point in time. But that's the way that I see it, right? I look at that and I say, because growing up, I didn't have to have a basketball court in my backyard to have access to play basketball, and you didn't need access. You didn't have to. I mean, people have swimming pools in their backyards, but I didn't have one. I mean, we grew up poor as shit, and I had access to the YMCA swimming pool though, and now it's like, well, how can we do that with individual items? Whether it's Ryan's Ladder, or I was on the website, I saw all kinds of things on there. Like, it's not in Los Angeles yet, so
not yet.
I can't use it yet, but I'm really looking forward to the day where I can get that Chewbacca costume that I saw on the website. I just need this. God, it's like I have $10 a day or something.
You're just gonna do it to record one episode of our podcast with video and just be in a Chewbacca outfit and not say a word about it.
None of us mention it the whole time. But there are other things on there, and even things like books. Like I saw a Malcolm Gladwell book on there, and it's like $1 a day, and you're like, well, that's what libraries do, but maybe this there's something here. If I'm getting a bunch of other items, and by the way, I always wanted to read The Tipping Point, and now all of a sudden I can at the same time. And the nice thing is, you're freeing up space in one person's life, and then you're giving access to that same stuff to many other people while I'm not using it. I was thinking recently, and our friend Rob Bell just did an episode about this. I'm seeing more and more of these now. These little scooters, Bird and Lime. Do they have them up in the Bay Area?
They did.
They got rid of them.
The government just shut it down. But
they're amazing. But the problem is, like, people don't put them back on the bike rack, so they just end up thrown everywhere, all sidewalks.
That's sort of the beauty of it.
The yard. Yeah, I mean, it's great for us if we don't own that yard that all the birds are thrown in.
Yeah, so I haven't seen any yards yet, but I've seen a lot, especially just the last 7 days, like the last week. I've seen a ton of them, both of them, Bird and Lime. And people are leaving them on like street corners, so they'll be on like the corner of Sweetser and Beverly or something, where that Blue Bottle coffee is, and you'll see one there, and you'll see a Lime on the opposite corner, and I'm definitely going to try it out this week.
Dude, they're so much fun. Yeah. So just for our listeners, this is an electric scooter that is it's battery charged. You take a couple steps or a couple pushes, and like you hit the button, and all of a sudden you can go. What's crazy to me about this whole Bird Lime thing is that there are high school kids, like
chargers,
making like hundreds of dollars a day.
It's brilliant
from going around collecting these things and then plugging them in. There was this homeless dude that came up to me in Santa Monica a couple weeks ago when I was up there surfing, and he was like, "Hey man, can I get a couple bucks?" And I was like, "Yeah man, sure." Like, I gave him a little bit of change, whatever I had in my pocket, and I was like, these birds, I was like, you can charge these things and like make a couple $100 a day if you max it out. And he was like I blew his mind. He's like, really? And then he got a smartphone out, downloaded the app,
became a charger.
Yeah, that's great, man.